Hi.
Tadia.
What up, booby?
Can I not be called Vanessa?
I know. I'm so sorry. I was calling you Vanessa at first,
Yeah.
but then it was hard because I'm like, booby is cuter.
And that's what everybody knows.
Right,
Thanks to
exactly.
Carel, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I'm so excited to be in Haiti right now.
Yeah.
The podcast room.
Yes.
We've been busy working,
Yeah.
interviewing some really dope
Yes.
people.
So I'm exhausted and I'm hungry because y'all went and had lunch, left me here. And then when I go out to get some lunch, they're like, "Oh, it's snacks only." Like,
Well,
no,
what
man.
made them do this? So I mean, I knew you was on board, but I just wanted us to do a podcast because number one, I think it's important for our community to see that women can collaborate, women can work together effectively. And then I also feel like, we never had the official thing where it's like, we're a team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it's
that's
like,
true.
Kyle was sort of like, this is Booby, this is Tadia, all right, cool.
Yeah. Okay,
So,
figure it out.
Right, exactly. So you can start and introduce yourself and talk about what you do, and then I'll do the same.
Okay, well, my name is Vanessa Joseph, and I'm an immigration attorney in Miami, which you know. But I'm also what Carel refers to as his number two. So basically, if he's the CEO, then I'm like COO, right?
You gotta call it. You gotta claim it. You are the
Pretty
COO.
much.
He is the CEO.
Right, pretty much really focused on Chokarella's brand globally, and making sure that everything that we do in the different pockets, regardless of who's working on it, but it all kind of seamlessly comes together. So my background is in, academically, I did study political science. I got a master's in public administration. I did get a law degree, but I always did marketing and public relations. It was always there. I think I'm very much left and right brained. So I really loved the stuff that I did learn. But I mostly loved being creative and working on projects, and just my personality. I love to jump from thing to thing. So
Yeah.
some people might call it flighty, but it's just that I like excitement. I like things to be different. Every day should be different and exciting. So that's why I'm so heavily involved in Chokarella and what we do. So why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah. So I'm Tadia Toussaint. I'm from New York. Growing up, my mom put me in a lot of different programs and exposed me to a lot of different things in the arts. And so for a long time I was singing and very in music programs in New York and stuff like that. I actually went to Juilliard and I studied trombone.
Amazing.
Thanks.
Trombone, that's weird.
Yeah,
but
I know. I played it for 9 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Isn't it? I actually need to buy one. But, obviously being from a Haitian household, the importance of, getting a degree and getting something that's stable and something to pay the bills.
Right.
So when I started college, I graduated high school. And then I went to college and I had to choose a major literally the first semester because I finished 2 years of college in high school. So I actually couldn't even apply as a freshman. I had to apply as a transfer student. And so I got my bachelor's degree in 2 years. So the first semester I had to choose something.
Right.
Usually you have that flexibility.
Right.
You're undecided. You could just wait it out. I just got thrown right into it. I'm like, I have to find something that's very lucrative, something that I can apply to somewhere in the future to what I really love to do, which is music. And so I chose media. I chose journalism, and I trained for that, and I worked at CBS Sports.
Nice.
I worked at I still do work there at Brick TV, which is a TV station based in Brooklyn. And so with media, I've been able to connect with people like Carel, and I'm here, in Haiti, and that's a great opportunity. But I've really been plugged in through media. And, I have the stage presence for it. I love talking to people. And I love hearing people's stories because that's really where you're really inspired. You know what I mean? So with all of that said,
Right.
media for me is my way of giving back to Haiti. And so I met Carel 3 years ago at an event actually that I was reporting there, and he was hosting, and I kind of just spoke to him, and we spoke about like, listen, I love Haiti, and like I want to help and stuff like that. And so it just kind of unofficially started when I came to Haiti and I worked here, and then he had invited me to come to do an event with him, and I did interviews, and it was amazing, and he was really impressed.
Yeah.
So since then, you know, he kind of just, if there's an event happening in New York and he can't be there, he's like, hey, can you go cover this? And so it sort of started that way.
That's dope.
Yeah. How did you meet Carel?
Oh, I met Carel when I was like probably 15, 16.
Wow.
So I've known Carel a really long time. I don't remember exactly how we met, but like where and when and stuff like that. But I do remember that it was because I had family in the entertainment industry. And so them working with Carel, and maybe he was at Planet Creole at the time. So maybe I was even younger. I don't remember exactly, but maybe that's like the connection. But I just remember he was somebody I've known for like ever. So then how we reconnected, I think must have been in like my later years working on a festival together. And I feel like that kind of like created the friendship between Carel and I. So like I knew him when I was a kid, but then like when I started to do this on my own versus just like being there helping my cousin out or other people, at that point I became friends with like Carel and Timoza around the same time. So it just flourished into what it became now. I think Carel trusts me.
No, he does, I'm sure. I knew about Booby before I even met Booby, so that means that the impact is definitely there. But, you know, obviously we are busy doing multiple things. How do you juggle being a COO? I'm calling it now. That's how you have to introduce yourself. The number 2 thing, nobody really gets it, but the COO, you jump. And but how do you juggle, you know, being an attorney, working with Chokarella, and like even you just launched your own podcast.
Right. Well, I didn't launch my own podcast. I actually launched my own radio show.
Let it be known.
So, so I was already doing all of this while doing something else, right? So I've always been the kind of person who has to do multiple things, or else I feel like I'm gonna get bored and I'm just going to like create.
Right.
I can't just sit still. So it's really hard. So I think even while I was in school, that's how I started my first PR and marketing business. And I learned to balance school in that. Then when I graduated school, and I think I went to a master's program, I had to juggle that business with the master's program with working a full-time job.
Wow.
That transitioned into me then going into law school and still balancing the business.
Wow.
So as that all was happening, I've always had a system for like balance, right? So I know what I'm going to do. I try to manage my time the best I can. And I focus my attention on what matters the most to me. So transitioning into becoming an attorney, managing this business, as well as working on Chokarella as much as I do, it really required me to understand how to properly manage my time with all of these different elements. And so I know I go to work, and that's what I'm there to do. I work.
Right.
I work 100%. I give it my all. They have me for that time. Now, after work, it's my time. So I'm either going to go to sleep or I'm going to innovate and I'm going to make things amazing, right? And so because I care so much about innovation and actually like raising the bar and things like that, I tell myself, you know what, I'll sacrifice some hours of sleep to make this happen. On the weekends, same thing. I do work, you know, for my, I guess, 9 to 5 on the weekends, just because I'm that passionate about my job. Some days I work 6 days a week and I do work late hours. But I'm also equally passionate about, you know, media and raising the bar and getting messaging out there. So I I'll work weekends too. So I'm kind of like, I'm always on.
Right.
I've never, so I always say that I never get bored because I
always have something to do.
Always have something to do.
That's
so
great.
Even if I'm just sitting here and I'm at the doctor's and I'm waiting, so I literally could be typing up a whole entire press release on my phone. Like I at least have an initial draft. So I'm constantly moving, constantly thinking, so there's always time for me to work, even if it's just by thinking and drafting, so that when it comes time to actually get the real job done, it's much easier, you know?
Voila.
So that's how I'm able to balance. I don't know, how is it for you?
You know, I just turned 25 and
that's so cute. I'm almost 25.
I'm done. Don't make it seem like that was long ago. Girl, you was 25 yesterday.
Just a few years. I'm dramatic.
No, but you know, and I really used my birthday this year as really a time to take the temperature of what I'm doing. And as much as you might tell yourself, hey, you shouldn't care about what people think about you.
Right. You're human, so you do think about those things.
And you think about the perception and the impact that you're making on people. And so I've been very conscious about, you know, like what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. So I hate branding it because it sounds like flighty, like you said, or like, oh my God, I do this, and I do that. But seriously, when I'm in 100%. Right. So I structure my week as I give media 2 days, I give music 2 days, and I give, you know, my business 2 days, and I'll have 1 day for myself. Right. And so I have to structure it that way. Otherwise, there's no way, right? So media, you know, I'm contributing to Brick, and I'm doing short documentaries for them, and that's what pays my bills. Right. And I also host a show there. So
it's not an office job that you have to go into every single day. That's dope. Yeah, no. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really grateful for it, but you have to be really disciplined because you know I leave and it's like, ugh.
I don't want to do anything. Yeah.
And then I have emails waiting for me, or I have to schedule meetings, or find subjects, pitch my next story. It's really a lot of work, and then I'm sacrificing, you know, the benefits of. I was offered a contract job to be at Brick from 9 to 5, but I'm like, I can't because I won't be able to do the other things that I'm doing. So
and that's a huge decision to make, to say, you know what, I'm going to sacrifice stability just for me to be able to have the either, you know, passion project that I want or the lifestyle I want. So that's really big.
Yeah, girl, it wasn't easy because I'm gonna tell you, like, there's been times when I've been broke, like so broke that I'm like, yo, where's my next dollar coming from? And sometimes I'm like, you know, and there are times when things are great, and then, you know, it's hard because sometimes you'll have those stages where you get discouraged, like, yo, let me go apply for a job because I know a check will be running in. But again, like I said, I know there's going to be a point where things aren't easy, so I just have to stick it through. And that's what I've been doing.
I think for me, in terms of like actually having a 9 to 5, part of that is just I do have a passion for what I do. Like I really do care about immigrants. I really want to be able to help my people. It's really important to me that I serve my community in any way. And I think that being in the diaspora, this is one of the ways that I can do it, is by, you know, walking them through the immigration process, right? It's being there, a shoulder for them, being a support system for them, being a resource for them, holding their hands through the entire process. I'm really, really passionate about that. So I really don't see my job as like the standard 9 to 5 and oh my God, like, I do definitely care about that, but I really do. I care about my community so much, and that's why I created the radio show. It was because I felt like there was this gap between the millennial Haitian Americans and then us, the millennials here in Haiti. And I wanted them to be able to communicate in a way that not only do they get to hear what we're up to over there in the United States, but also so that we could discuss issues that happen around the world or around the United States and how that affects us as a community. So it's important for Haitian Americans to not only connect with themselves and each other, but then also try to have some connection with the millennials here, Because at some point they're going to leave it all to us, right? Like our parents will not be there. We will be that generation, and we don't want to be a generation that is disconnected because increasingly we have become disconnected. So that was, you know, the radio show was a passion project, and I'm glad that the COO of my nonprofit where I work, he's extremely supportive of it. He was the one who was like, hey, you know, you should come to this event. And I think that he actually, whether he realized it or not, whether it was his intention or not, what he did for me was basically tell me, you're important enough to me that I want you
to invest in your passion.
I want to basically invest in your passion, even if it's just giving you some time off to go figure out how much more you could give back to your people. So
where do you see it as far as like your contributions in media and stuff like that? What are your goals as far as like what do you want to be able to do in the next, let's say, few years?
In the next few years, my true hope is that, and it's something that I work on consistently through Chokarella, is really to elevate the standard of media here, right? It's really to elevate the standard of media in the Haitian industry. When we started coming out on Facebook Lives and things, it was a concept that people weren't using. They weren't understanding, right? But now you see it used more and more. It's become more commonplace. So I always want us to be able to keep up with the times so that we can be on an international level. Right. So that if CNN, if BBC, if anybody needs some kind of content, they could reach out to us and have it, and it would be in a format that they can then use. Right. It would be amazing for us to get to that point where we no longer are looked at as people that a story has to be told for us. We're telling our own stories, and we're telling them in the different languages that people around the world can understand, right? So we can tell our stories in English so that I can express what's happening in Haiti to a Haitian American who, unfortunately, and maybe sometimes through no fault of their own, doesn't speak the language, right? And even if they do speak the language, they can't understand it enough in the context that's presented to them.
Right. How often, I know I heard you the other day at the check-in, checking somebody like, yeah, last time I was here, y'all thought I was Carel's girlfriend. I'm sure you hear that all the time.
How often does that happen? Yeah.
No, I was gonna say how often do you have to deal with that?
So the presumption is always that you're like with someone, right? Because you're a
Which
woman,
is
you're
just
close
so
to
annoying.
somebody. Yeah, it's unimaginable for many people that two people of the opposite sex can be nothing but friends. So it is difficult, it is annoying, and it does happen semi-frequently. I think less so now, especially since Carel is very much public with his girlfriend, so it's like very clear. But it is something that has happened very frequently. It's not a rare occurrence.
Right.
It is very annoying, but then again, I get it. And I just know that I try not to make those presumptions about other people because I know what it feels like to me. It's, it's not so much, it's obviously I'm not like, I guess I don't get angry about it.
Right.
I just more so wish that we could come to a place where we're kind of like, oh, these people, it's very much possible that these people could be colleagues. Right. And of course, it may not have been their fault.
Right.
Maybe they just assumed that, he was bringing a +1, and that +1 must have been his girlfriend.
Right.
So okay, it is what it is. But it's just it's funny now that we look at them and I run into the same people. They're like, "I'm so sorry," and I'm like, "It's okay."
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Me personally, when I started, contributing to Chokarella, I felt like, it was a cold meeting with Carel. I just met him at an event. Yeah. But obviously I love the product. I love the concept. Yeah. And then secondly, it's also important because at the time I was contributing to another Haitian outlet and I wasn't really receiving the amount of support when I was working here that I was getting from him. And I just feel like I was so grateful that he was sharing his contacts with me. Right. Not even for his publication. And, that said a lot to me about the kind of person he is. Number two, he saw that I was a young girl, sprouting journalist, wanting to help.
Right.
And I really appreciated that. And so, not to say that, oh, I'm working now, because I'm still so thankful that I'm working, but like, I really do love the platform, and I really love what it's doing. So I always make sure that Carel knows, and of course you and the rest of the guys, that I'm here to help in whatever capacity. If it's giving a ride from the airport, if it's, lending, whatever. And I really do feel a part of the team.
I mean, you are a part of the team, and like, I think that we appreciate you a lot.
Thank you.
Maybe it's not always expressed in the right ways. Sometimes the appreciation comes in the form of more work.
No,
That's
of course.
A lot of the way it's expressed to me is just more.
No, seriously, how do you deal with Carel? Bro, I sent him a text. Look, we're about to talk bad about him.
I have nothing negative to say.
See? Wow.
Look, I mean, I get it. He's an unresponsive person sometimes.
I'm just kidding.
But I find we work extremely well together.
That's amazing.
I've never had a point with Carel.
That's great.
I mean, I don't even know if I've ever yelled I don't think I've ever yelled at him. He's never yelled at me. He's laughing. Wait, have I ever yelled at you? No.
That was so awkward. He's like
I know I've never yelled at him, maybe, unless like I don't know what it is, but I've never yelled at him. He's never yelled at me. He's never been disrespectful, never been rude. He's a very down to earth person, so I'm able to click with people.
No, for sure.
Really well when they're humble, they're down to earth.
Exactly.
That's not the perception that people have of him.
Oh my! I was just about to tell you. On multiple occasions, I've been advised, "Oh, be careful of Carel." I'm serious. Be careful.
And I'm like, oh my God, does he bite?
Yeah, and I'm like, let me tell you something. And again, this is a podcast, so we can talk about whatever the hell we want. But I seriously was advised. Someone told me, Lina Magie, you better be careful. Yeah, because
Lina Magie, and I ain't got no money.
Kidding. And I was just like, wow, like, you don't even know this man from nowhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like, another thing too is, especially the culture difference. I feel like, first of all, Haitian men have this image or whatever that they're like they're this way or whatever. I've never felt uncomfortable, like disrespected, no funny comments, no funny, like it's
nothing
strictly
slick, nothing disrespectful, nothing rude.
No, there's no side streets that, you know what I mean? And not for nothing, like I said earlier, like I'm into the arts and stuff, so I'm branding myself as an artist as well, and obviously I don't dress like a nun, so sometimes people can misconstrue that and say, oh yeah, she's this, she's that, or you put me in a party, I'm gonna dance.
Like a nun. Well, I think I dress like a nun, and you.
I don't dress like a.
Yeah.
But sometimes people judge you based on the way you look, and it's like, no, that's not the situation, and
You're an artist,
and I'm really, really, like, it's such a professional environment, and I feel like, comme haïtien, sometimes we don't even have the facts. Yeah. And you're spreading bullshit. You know what I mean? And it's just like, gather your facts. At least if it was somebody that knew him personally and had been like, okay, maybe let me consider.
Right. But it's like random people. I mean, that happens. And I think maybe it's human nature. I'm not going to say that it's Haitians. It's actually just human nature for us to talk ill of what we don't understand or what we don't know,
or just straight up haters. Hi, we love you too.
And I know that for women especially, it's even more difficult because, like you're saying, you dress a certain way because you're branding yourself as an artist. Well, imagine me, who's an attorney, and people get upset if I'm wearing like sneakers, and I'm like, but before all, I am Vanessa. And Vanessa likes to wear dresses and also wear sneakers because she likes to be comfortable.
Exactly.
So, obviously I'm not going to go to a gala dressed in sneakers, but there are certain ways that I dress that I feel is comfortable for me. Obviously, it's never my intention to be like overly revealing. I do enjoy having fun, but at the same time within limits. So I really try to just behave in a way that is true to myself, while also being, respectful and modest and things like that. However, I just feel like sometimes, based on what you do, the bar is set so high for you in terms of like what you have to be, and it's like,
Right.
You know, can we let people be
No,
people
for sure.
first,
And that's the
or-
thing. And when I said an artist, not to say like, oh, I have to dress a certain way because I want.
Right.
But it's just like, I actually enjoy dressing
It's like
the way I dress.
it's a form of expression.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. And I feel like, you know, we was talking about this too, going natural. Yep, I went there.
Yeah, it's rough.
When I first started in media, I actually went to ABC, and someone at ABC told me that I had to straighten my hair. And I said, in order to be on camera, they said I had to straighten my hair. And I had like a big fro at the time, and I was just like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm just not.
Yeah.
And then that's when I realized that, again, and that's why I guess I am tapping into the Haitian media or the media environments that are not as strict. And that's why I love Brick TV. Like,
Yeah. They allow you to be you, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like, I have classmates that I graduated with working for big companies and stuff like that. I could have, but the restraints and the expectations are so retarded that I'm just like, I don't want to live that. You know what I mean? But, you know, girls are going natural now, and unfortunately there are still work environments where we do have to conform.
Yeah.
And it sucks. And I mean, it is a choice that, you know, you have to be mindful of whether or not you are going to conform or be the rebel.
Right.
But you also don't want to close opportunities because of something as stupid as hair.
Right. And I think hair is like extremely important because it frames your face. It does a lot. But you're right. It's a choice that we have to make. And maybe, I guess society hasn't, or maybe, trends or styles aren't moving in the same direction and at the same speed as society. So there are a lot of things that we think of as like a conservative way of thinking in terms of like style wise, not ideology, but just style.
Yeah.
That you would imagine would be accepted in 2018, and it's really not. It's still what we would think of as like 1950s thought or whatever. So you just kind of gotta accept it and find ways to work around it.
Right.
I think that being forced to change the person that you are inside, that I'll never allow to happen.
Right.
But if I have to sacrifice, dyeing my hair like that blonde pink, which I love, I'm willing to sacrifice it because I know that this is not what I signed up for, was to be an attorney, be in these professional settings, and that type of hair does not scream out professional.
Right, of course.
So it may be fun, but it doesn't work.
Right. Talking about sacrifice, do you feel like your line of work or all of the things that you're doing is prohibiting you from having a nice social life or even like a love life even?
Let's see. So I feel like a lot of my social life is wrapped up in the work that I do, because you can't meet somebody if you don't go out there. And then when I'm out there, the people that I meet are all these same people. Luckily for me, I have two worlds. So I can meet people in entertainment and media. I can meet people in more professional settings. So I wouldn't say I don't have a social life. I do. If I don't, it's by choice. Not wanting to go out and not wanting to be in certain situations. So maybe I don't club and things like that, but I don't really feel like I'm missing out on anything either. I feel like that I enjoy thoroughly working and things like that, that it's become part of my social life. And I really... I make it a point to brunch with my friends. I make it a point to do happy hours with them, and just enjoy those little moments, because I never want to like neglect the people who are always there.
Oh my God, I hear this all the time, and it sucks because I have cousins and friends that's like, yo, you're always working.
Yeah.
And even when like, it looks like I'm at an event, I'm having fun, they're like, wow, you didn't invite me, or wow, I thought you was going to work. And I'm
they
like,
don't
this
understand
is work.
that this is me working.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I've started like trying to just invite my friends to things that I can't invite them to. So, for example, I did the Mika Ben listening party. And so I invited a few of my friends to come out and listen as well. It served two objectives, right? Like a way for us to hang out, but then also to expose them to music that they really weren't listening listening to, even though they are Haitian. And I think they ended up buying the album.
Wow.
So, I mean, it works out in these different types of ways. I have been able to meet men, especially on the professional side. It's been really refreshing because everybody says that, you know, all men are this, all men are that. And I think that sometimes that's a mistake that we make. As humans, we tend to think that, oh, my negative experience with XYZ is going to be my
experience with everybody.
And it's not like that. And so I think that just having the friends that I have and things like that, I've been able to see that, like, all men aren't the same. And all, you know, all situations aren't the same. So I wouldn't say, I may not have, like, I'm not married, but I don't think that.
Does that bother you that you just turned the number you turned and you're not married?
That I turned 45 and I'm married. But, no.
Stop. I just didn't know if you wanted to tell everybody.
I don't think it bothers me. Maybe the way it may bother my parents. I don't even know if they're really bothered by it as much as, like, they just wish, you know. But the thing is that I think parents that are my parents' age, maybe not your mom's. I feel like your mom's like a year older than me.
Stop.
But
it's so funny.
Maybe parents who are of the generation prior, you know, they were able to get married by 23 and then have kids, like all their kids were born by the time they were 26 and things. But life is a little bit different now.
Of course.
Right? We're pushing back marriage and things because we want to accomplish things on an individual level. Right. We want to follow our passions. We want to be able to play out our projects. And so I think that I've just given myself that opportunity. I don't want to ever regret not having done X, Y, Z.
Right.
Could that hold me back in terms of my love life? Maybe. But do I feel held back? No. I think I'm quite content.
Have you given yourself a milestone like, by 35, I need to...
Nope. Nope. I think that what is for you is yours.
Right.
When it comes, it comes. God's timing is perfect.
Right.
Mine sucks.
Right.
So if I'm trying to force anything, it's just going to turn out that much more.
Wow.
Like, it's going to turn out terribly.
Right.
So I respect the system. I respect what God has put in place, and I'm just working by that. I think it's, you do yourself an injustice if you tell yourself, you know what, by this time I need to be at this place, because you don't know what the future holds.
That's very true. I used to say that all the time. I mean, I used to say, oh my God, by 25, like, I want to be married and a kid. And I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
I'm 25.
Look at you now. I know. One of my paralegals was like turning 25, and I was like, girl, it's all downhill from here.
Oh my God.
She was like, I know, and it has been. and it really isn't. I say that as a joke. I think that everybody lives their life at their pace, at the pace that's right for them.
Right.
So we really need to start accepting what God or the universe has in store for you, and just take it day by day.
Yeah. That's great. I wanted to know one more thing. And obviously, ask if you want me to answer my own questions, I can. What do you think in terms of, like, we've met so many different people this week. This tech summit is amazing. What do you think needs to be done to revert all of what everybody has been talking about? And it's crazy because everybody's working on something different, but we all have one vision.
Right.
We want to see change here.
Right.
What do you think needs to be done to implement those changes?
I think the first thing is really, like, laying out a plan, right? When you don't plan, like, you're basically planning for failure. So I think we need to really document, okay, what are we going to do? Right. And I'm not saying that we have to write out these, like, elaborate plans, but we can, like, outline. We can say, okay, these are the actionable steps that we need to take on. This is who we need to connect with to make this happen. And then actually give ourselves, you know, some target dates, right? Okay, by this time, let's try and get this one objective done. And we need to be realistic. Right. I think sometimes we have these lofty goals, and we're like, okay, we're going to save Haiti by 2019. Well, 2019 is upon us. Right. So if we have to scale back and say, you know what, I'm going to take 100 books and distribute them to 100 kids and encourage them to read it, start a book club, whatever. Right. We start small. That's all we can do. And we can hope that change is going to inspire other people to act and change as well. But we need to really be realistic about the goals that we have.
Right.
And so once we've, like, when we put together all of this stuff that has come out of the tech summit, we need to think about, all right, what can I do?
Mm-hmm.
Where do I fit in? Do I partner with somebody who's already doing something? Because we have to be accepting of the fact that we can't do everything by ourselves.
Right.
So can I partner with this person? Can this be somebody who becomes a sounding board for me?
Mm-hmm.
We need to really see where we fit in into the larger picture.
Right.
And then we need to create the steps to make something actually happen.
And I think that's one of the biggest issues here. And I wish, and well, too, because I really feel like there are just too many brands, too many organizations wanting to do the same work.
Right.
And it's like, this person's doing the work, this person's doing work. Yes, every little bit counts, but si tout le monde met ensemble. And I mean, everybody now, yes, you can create a website, you can create a logo and say, hey, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it great. And you have the best team behind you. But you don't realize that not partnering is what's breaking us.
Right.
Because the work can be done more effectively if we do partner.
Yeah.
And I really feel like, I mean, one takeaway for me from the Tech Summit, I feel like it's so dope to me, you know, this person doing this person doing that. But it's just like bringing all of that together.
Right.
Like, can we have a meeting together? Can your organization and my organization have a meeting together to come up with a plan?
Yeah.
Forget the freaking brand for a little bit. I don't care about, you know, if it's Fatra in Port-au-Prince or Fatra in Jacmel. Like, you're doing the same work. Come together and see how you can make it. You'll have access to more sponsors.
Right. A bigger impact, more resources.
Bigger audience.
Right.
I really think that that's what's
I think
important.
that's something that we don't do, but is missing in terms of our culture. And
L'union fait la force. Take it off the flag if we're not doing it.
If we're not going to do it. I agree. And I think sometimes there's such a desire to be the leader of everything. And, like, I'm the kind of person who's very comfortable in a backseat role. People do see me at the forefront of different things, maybe some causes, some issues, maybe on the radio and stuff like that. That's only because sometimes you have to be that person that goes ahead and says, you know what, I'm going to sacrifice myself and, like, put myself in this position to move XYZ forward. However, it would be great to be able to partner and make something that much bigger. I think sometimes
everybody wants the credit.
Everybody wants the credit, and sometimes you don't need the credit. I mean,
but sometimes you get the credit, but because it was
work. Because people have, I mean, I've gotten a lot of credit for things just because of the fact that I actually do the work. I've gotten recognition because I actually do the work.
Right.
It's not because I was running out there and trying to
put your face on everything.
Yeah, exactly. I actually just would be out there and just doing.
Right.
You know? And so people started to know me that way.
Right.
So around my community, I would be out there just doing free consultations for immigration, for example, and I'll just be sitting there and I'll help you fill out a paper if I can. I'll help you do whatever. Even if I'm on the plane and you see me, you can ask me.
Right.
Help me fill out my customs forms. I'm happy to do it.
Right.
Because I'm genuinely passionate about the cause.
Right.
I'm not worried about the brand. I'm not worried about, like, people knowing that I'm an attorney. I'm worried about, are you doing this correctly?
Right.
Are you doing this in a way that's not going to put you into trouble later on? I care about people and I care about causes. I don't care about the credits. Not everybody's like that. Maybe credit is very important. For me, it's maybe not the most important.
Right.
But we can't expect everybody to be the same.
But I just feel like everybody's caught up because we're living in a very visual world and there's social media and people want to show the work that they're doing. People just want the frontline thing to say, hey, look what I did.
Right.
It's like, I get it. You know, I'm also heavy on social media, so I get it. But, like, there are certain projects that you don't have to be the face on. Like, and again, tying right back to how we started this conversation, you know, I could have very well said to Colin, hey, listen, I want to be a host on your show and put my face on anything. And that's why when I do videos, I don't include myself in most of them because the story's not about me.
Right. It's actually about the other person.
You know what I mean? And, like, I'm really a firm believer in sometimes knowing when to take the lead, like you said, and knowing when to join the team.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like we have more aspirations to be leaders than to just work with a team. I love to work with other people because, number one, there's less for me to do, right? I don't have to do everything.
Right.
And number two, I can fall back and let somebody else be the center of attention so I can just lay back and chill. Then Because when you're behind the scenes, you ain't got to do your hair. You don't have to put your makeup on.
That's very true. That's very true, girl.
Which I would love, right? Like not having to just be in my bed, just doing my, like laying up there in my pajamas and just like writing stuff. But unfortunately, life doesn't actually work that way. Yeah. But I think teamwork truly makes the dream work. I know it's cliche, but we can make it happen. Yeah. And I really do want to see like more collaboration amongst women, because I think it's trendy. I think it's very trendy to talk about women empowerment and say that, oh, I'm here for my girls, but people aren't actually putting it into practice.
Right.
Just saying.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? So I think that while it's a trendy thing to say, we actually have to start putting it into action and really coming together, because women are a force to be reckoned with, especially in a country like Haiti, where we're the ones we're the potomita.
Right. Right. Exactly. All right. Girl. I think we're done-ish. Do you have any questions for me?
Mostly how it feels like living in New York, because for me in Miami, I feel like I'm extremely connected to my community. Our community really focuses on issues a lot more, but I look at New York as being more of like an entertainment place, even though a lot of bands do originate from Miami, and Miami is like a central place for entertainment, but we also have like a huge Haitian community active in like NGOs and social organizations versus New York. I feel like y'all just living the good life out there. So, like,
no, girl, it is not the good life. Girl, listen, if it was the good life, I would live by myself right now, which I live in my mom's house.
Yeah, which is still a fine thing to do while you're building your life, while you're saving your coins.
I know. Yeah. Well, I'm not saving coins, I'm paying rent. Hey, Mom. But I think the most important thing in New York, as far as the Haitian community is concerned, we're very fragmented. Okay. You wouldn't find, there's like the political scene, there's the entertainment scene, then there's like the health scene, and I'm talking about in terms of the Haitians living there. Yeah. But it's not like, one community of like a bunch of Haitians. Obviously, people go to where they're interested. But I feel like even when I was working as a reporter there in New York, I feel like most of the stories that I was doing in the Haitian community, you don't find as many struggle stories. I think maybe I'm assuming in terms of like you'll find, or people are more scared to tell their struggle stories, like the Haitian struggle story. The stories coming out of New York would sound like, this artist just got this big deal in this art gallery. Yeah. Or so-and-so just got signed to a label, a big label, an American label. Yeah. Like those are the stories you'll hear. Versus in Miami, you'll find out about the little lady that has, a little store, a little marketplace. And, like the stories are more grassroots in Miami, I feel. Yeah. But they do exist in Brooklyn and New York. But I just feel like they're harder to find because it's not so much in your face. Right. But there's definitely a big Haitian population in New York. And I just feel like la vie vraiment dit New York. Like people see it as the perception of living in New York is like, oh, wow, you live in New York. Right. And maybe not from, you guys, but like people like, oh, wow, you're from New York. And it's just like, it's really hard to live in New York. It's really hard to survive in New York. And being Haitian, I mean, it's great that we have all those resources and we have people in public office that are of Haitian descent, which is great. But I just feel like if you're like a just come, it's harder to make it in New York. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the community, like I said, is there's no unity. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like they just created a Haitian Promoters Coalition, which is great. And the whole idea was so that they can come up with ways to fix the way Haitian events look and sound, and minimizing long lines and stuff like that, and including female artists in the lineup, which is great. But it's like, it's a lot of talk and
very little action. What about your Haitian millennial community or like younger generation? Because
they don't care about Haiti,
so they're not connected.
No, and people say to me all the time right before I came here, like, yo, Tadia, you're always in Haiti.
Yeah, me too.
I'm like, girl, if only you knew. Right. Like, and it's crazy. 2 years ago when I came here, I was on the plane. I have the selfie. I'll show it to you. I was crying on the plane coming to Haiti. Tellement t'es peur.
Really?
Because you hear the stories, you're going to get kidnapped. I didn't get when you travel, you get your hair done, your nails done. I didn't get my hair done. I didn't get my nails done. I traveled with like a Planet Fitness t-shirt and like some sweats. Because that's what they say.
Yeah.
Don't look cute. They'll know you're not from here.
Right.
They'll grab you up.
Right.
So then when I got down, I'm like...
That's so unfortunate.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, this is like a gem.
Yeah.
And, even speaking Creole and all the time, and, my friends and family would be like, yo, girl, where did you learn? Like, when did you become so Haitian?
Right. Yeah.
And I'm just like... I care about the community, and just being on the ground and helping and contributing is like really such a rewarding feeling. And like I say all the time, like I don't have to get paid for it because I'm getting paid in other ways.
Right.
So I really think, yeah.
This is a great talk.
This was really good. It's really good.
All right, so we'll just wrap it up for now.
Okay.
Maybe let some other people podcast, and we can always come back.
Yeah.
We're home.
We're ready. Booby, you were great.
It was great.
This is so bomb. All right. Cut.